So today we are talking about our plant cells. We talked about animal cells previously, so this video is strictly on plant cells. We started by our shape of the plant cell, which you can see is already very different from the animal cell. This one is more boxy in shape and has much more structure to it. We're going to start up here with the nucleus. The nucleus is the same in plant and animal cells, where its job is to both store genetic information in both cells. Inside of our nucleus, we have our DNA. That is your genetic information. Coming off of our nucleus, we have our endoplasmic reticulum. Half of it is studded and considered the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Its job is to produce proteins. And the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is the side that is not studded with ribosomes, and that's job is to produce lipids. Additionally, we do have some free-floating ribosomes. Their job is to produce proteins. The difference between the ribosomes that are in the cytoplasm and those that are on the endoplasmic reticulum depends on what type of protein they are making. If they are making proteins that are going to stay in the cell, they're going to be found on the endoplasmic reticulum. If they are making proteins that are going to be leaving the cell, they will be found in the cytoplasm. The next organelle is the mitochondria. This is the same and is found in every cell. The mitochondria has these inner folds, that inner membrane, and its job is to supply energy to the cell. The Golgi apparatus, right here, its job is to package and sort proteins that are made at the endoplasmic reticulum. Working in tandem with the Golgi apparatus is the vesicle. The vesicle's job is to transport those proteins to other areas of the cell. Now we have two new organelles that are totally unique to just plant cells. These whole organelles themselves are the chloroplasts. Chloroplasts contain chlorophyll, and this is the pigment that gives leaves a green color. Inside of the thylakoid, these stacks here are your thylakoids. Inside the chloroplast is the thylakoid. The thylakoid is the site of photosynthesis, and it's where photosynthesis will take place. We have the central vacuole. In animal cells, they had smaller vacuoles, but in plant cells, the central vacuole is a very large organelle that takes up any extra space. So you can see it's quite large. Its job is to store water and nutrients for the cell, and it gives the cell shape from the inside. The central vacuole's job is to help support the outer structures of the cell to provide structure from the inside. It stores water so the cell doesn't take in too much water at once and slowly releases water as the cell needs it. We have the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is that jelly-like substance that's responsible for holding everything in place. It is everything not organelle in here. The cell membrane is the same as it is in animal cells. It controls what enters and exits the cell. It gives shape and protection to the cell. We are going to go into depth more on the plasma membrane in our next section. And our last organelle that is completely unique to plant cells is the cell wall. The cell wall is a very rigid structure that gives cells shape and helps cells communicate to one another. Plant cells tend to be very boxy because they don't want any gap between them, and this is a rigid structure to help restrict movement. Unlike animals, plants have very little movement and therefore need this rigid structure to help them hold steady and in place. So that is your plant cell.